Today I'm going to show you how to do this geometric motif. It's made by using a ribbing stitch and creating a mesh look. Now this stitch may be somewhat familiar to some of you because I've actually taken it from an old classic stitch that was used for things like table runners and tablecloths. But I've adapted it ever so slightly to use it in place of a granny square. Granny squares are pretty common. Everyone knows how to do like 20 of them at least. And so today I decided that I was going to try something a little different and I would bring this to you. It has a very nice look and a very nice texture. And as you can see with this baby blanket I made, you can use all the scrap yarn that you have. If you have scrap yarn, you can just go ahead and use it as you care to use it. And because it's more a geometric shape, I chose to give it more a modern look. So even though it's a baby blanket, you can see that I've bordered it with a black. And then also I've done a reverse single crochet, or also known as a crab stitch, around the border in order to clean off that edge, give it a nice clean, more modern look. This is a wonderful scratch baby blanket. Use whatever yarns you have. In fact, this particular one is made with, oh, I don't know, at least 10 or 15 different yarns. And they range in sizes from 3 to 4. You can go bulkier if you like. I'm sure it's just going to give you a much larger square. You can go smaller if you like, much like I did here, and this will actually give you a smaller square. Something more similar to what you might imagine a standard size granny square might be. And this one, I actually used a size 2 yarn, more of a fingering weight yarn for this one. And so you can kind of see the size difference when we're talking in terms of size, right? So this yarn right here happens to be somewhere in the neighborhood. I mean, the package says that it's a size 3, but I have worsted weight yarn that is actually a little smaller than this. And how do I know? Because I used like 10 or 15 different kinds of yarns to make this blanket. I used scrap yarns that I had that I've been trying to use up, but didn't have any real project for, and didn't really want to have to buy more yarn to make a bigger project with the same color. So I just put all those yarns aside until I came across a motif that I liked and thought would work well with a bunch of different colors, and this is what I came up with. And so you can see the difference in size. Here I used the size 2 yarn, and then here is the size 3 yarn. My name is Sig, and it is such a pleasure to have this time with you today. It's your support that allows me to contribute new content and weekly videos. Help us grow together by tapping the subscribe bar, notification bell, and like buttons. I look forward to your comments and always value your feedback. Now let's get started. To get started, we're going to begin by chaining 23 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. And then I'm going to chain a +1, and I'm going to then single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then I'm going to single crochet 22 more times. 1, 2, 3, and 22. So So it gives me a total of 23 single crochets. Next, I'm going to chain one. I'm going to turn my work. And I'm going to crochet 23 more single crochets with my turning chain counting as one. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop only, into the third chain, or sorry, into the third single crochet, just like that. So now we have a count of 1 and 2. And I'm going to single crochet back loop only for the length of this row, giving me again a total of 23 stitches. So 2, 3, 4, and 23. So now for row 3, again, we're going to chain one and turn our work. And for row 3, we're going to only single crochet 20 stitches across, giving us a total of 21 stitches. So 20 single crochets plus this turning chain, which equals 1 single crochet. So we'll count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and our last stitch will give us 21 stitches. Okay, so as before, back loop only when we're doing these single crochets across the row. So now I'm going to chain one and I'm going to turn my work. And again, back loop only. I'm going to start my first single crochet in the third chain from the hook. And with that turning chain, that gives us 2 stitches total. And so again, we want the 21 stitches completely across row 4. Now when you come back here, make sure that, especially when we're doing a back loop only, make sure that you don't forget that you have this one last little stitch at the end of your row that's usually kind of tucked under. So just reach in there and pull that up, and you should have a total of 21 stitches across this 4th row. Now, as you can kind of see, the stair stepping is beginning. A little tip is when you begin, when you get to your 3rd row and you're doing your 21 stitches, always make sure that the end or the tail of your work that you started off with is facing in a right-handed direction. Okay, so this will help you from getting turned around or losing count or kind of getting off into the wrong direction, because it's really kind of easy to do that with this if you're not paying too close attention, if you kind of get into autopilot mode. Okay, so now for row 5, again, going to chain one and turn our work. And then this time I have my first stitch here. As I did before, I'm going to begin in the 3rd stitch from the hook. And I'm going to begin. That'll be my first single crochet of this row, but my 2nd stitch. And this row is going to have a total of 19 stitches. So we've got 2, 3, and again, back loop only, 4, 5, 6, 7, 17, 18, and 19. Then I'm going to do a yarn over 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the corner of this 23rd stitch from the 3rd row. I'm going to pull my yarn through once. So I should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on my hook. Then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through 2 of those loops. And I'm going to yarn over again and pull through 2 more loops. Yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. And then yarn over one more time and pull through those last 2 loops so that I have this long bar that you see here. And then I'm going to turn my work. This right here, this stitch, is going to count as your first stitch in this row. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert my hook into the 3rd stitch from the hook. Back loop only, make a single crochet, and that gives me my first 2 stitches. And then I'm going to finish single crocheting in each stitch, back loop only, until I come to the end of this row, which will give me a total of 19 stitches in this row. And then remember, this one gets this last stitch gets a little tucked down there, so you want to still do the back loop and single crochet, and that gives me a total of 19 stitches plus this leg here that is going to begin our mesh. So again, I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn my work. Again, this will be my first stitch. I'm going to work back loop only, single crochet for a count of 17. Or actually, you're going to do 16 single crochets, but you'll have a total of 17 stitches. So this will count as 1, and then in the 3rd stitch from the hook, you're going to do your first single crochet, but that gives you 2 stitches. And 3, 4, and 17. Then I'm going to make another chain. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to begin my first single crochet in that 3rd chain or 3rd stitch from the hook. And then I'm going to single crochet 15 more, back loop only, giving me a total of 17 stitches. Then we're going to chain 1, turn our work. And this time we're going to single crochet 14 stitches. Add that to this first turning chain, and that'll give us a total of 15 stitches. So we're going again, begin in the 3rd stitch from the hook, giving us our first 2 stitches. 3, 4, 14, and 15. So now I'm going to yarn over 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to insert my hook into this first stitch right here where my first leg begins, and I'm going to draw through a yarn, and then I'm going to yarn over again and pull that yarn through 2 loops, and then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through 2 more loops. Now I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to yarn over my hook 4 more times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to insert my hook at about about where you would expect if we had made a double crochet. So right about here. and I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull my yarn through, and then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. And then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through 2 more loops, yarn over again and pull through 2 more loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 more, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, which brings me back to the beginning of my next row of 15 stitches. And you can see that now I have the beginnings of my mesh. So I'm going to now turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet in that 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only, and that gives me my first 2 stitches, and I will finish up with 13 more single crochets in this row. Make a chain, turn your work, beginning in the 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only, make a single crochet, and now I'm going to single crochet an additional 11 stitches. That'll give me a total of 13 stitches in this row. I'm going to make a chain. I'm going to turn my work, insert my hook, 3rd stitch from the hook to create my first single crochet, but my 2nd stitch. And then I'm going to go ahead and single crochet an additional 11, giving me a total of 13 stitches in this row. I'm going to make a chain and turn my work. This time we want a total of 11 stitches in this row. So I'm going to insert my hook, 3rd stitch from the hook for my first single crochet. Again, all black back loops only, which gives me my 2nd stitch for the row. So now I want to single crochet 9 more stitches in the back loop. That gives me a total of 11 stitches in this row. And again, I'm going to yarn over 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to insert my hook right here at the end of row, or at the end of this row where we had 15 stitches, right at the beginning of the next, or at the beginning of where we began our mesh. And I'm going to yarn over and pull another loop through. So that should give me 6 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through once, yarn over and pull through 2 more loops again. Then I'm going to yarn over 4 more times. And then this time I'm going to insert my hook here into the next leg of the mesh, right here on this row. Yarn, pull through yarn. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops once, yarn over and pull through 2 loops twice. Now I'm going to continue because I still have one more section of mesh to address. So I'm going to yarn over 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then again, I'm going to insert my hook right here at the point where the work would have ended if this had only been a double crochet. So yarn over and pull that yarn through like that. And now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 loops on your hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Then yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. And I'm going to continue that until all the loops have been turned into mesh. So I'm going to continue on, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more, so on and so forth. All right, now you can see we have a row of 3 open spaces in our mesh. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to insert my hook into the 3rd stitch from the hook. Single crochet, back loop only, giving me my first 2 stitches in this row. And I will continue with 9 more stitches, 9 more single crochets to complete this row. And then make a chain, turn our work, begin my single crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only, first 2 stitches. Now I want 2 single crochet, 7 more, back loop only, of course. And that gives us a total of 9 stitches in this row. I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and again single crochet, 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only. That gives us our first 2 stitches. And now we're going to single crochet, back loop only 7 more times. And that gives us a total of 9 stitches in this row. I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet the 3rd stitch from the hook. That gives us our first 2 stitches in this row. And I'm going to single crochet 5 more. So we now have 7 stitches on this row. I'm going to yarn over 4 times. And then I'm going to insert my hook into this next mesh, stepped down from where I'm at now, right here into the corner. I'm going to yarn over and pull my yarn through. Yarn over again, and once, pull it through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull it through 2 loops again, twice. Then I'm going to yarn over 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the next double crochet space, or double crochet stitch actually. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert my hook right there. I'm going to tie it in, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through my yarn once, and then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops again, twice. That gives me my next double crochet in that row for the mesh. Then I'm going to yarn over 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to insert my hook into the next double crochet, and I'm going to pull through my yarn, and then yarn over and pull that through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull it through 2 more loops. And then one more time, I'm going to yarn over 4. And then right here at the end of my mesh, here at the end of the work, just right about where my chain or my double crochet would be, I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to pull through yarn. And now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 loops on the hook. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull that yarn through 2 loops. Again, yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. And I'm going to continue until I'm back down to just 1 loop on my hook. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then you want to hold your work. You want to kind of try to keep it from getting away from you, because your mesh stitches will get super loose if you're not careful, because it'll just kind of pull away from you and relax, and you want to maintain the tension. So again, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 more loops, yarn over, 2 loops, again, and again, and again, until you have worked your way back to 1 single loop on your hook. So this is about what your work should look like so far. So now I'm going to turn the work, and I'm going to single crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook, giving me 2 stitches, and I'm going to complete this row by single crocheting 5 more single crochets in the back loop only. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, single crochet 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only, gives me my first 2 stitches, and then I'm going to single crochet 3 more times. And then I'm going to single crochet, or sorry, scratch. And then I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, single crochet in the back loop of the 3rd stitch from the hook, gives me my first 2 stitches, and then I'm going to single crochet 3 more times, giving me a total of 5 stitches in this row. Then I'm going to make a chain, and I'm going to turn my work. Now this time I'm going to, again, single crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook, giving me my first 2 stitches. And then I'm going to single crochet once more only. And then from here we're going to start the process of making the mesh again. So yarn over 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Insert into the beginning of the mesh on the rows just below. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops twice, and then yarn over 4 more times. Then go through the first double crochet and anchor my stitch there, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 more loops, making my second double crochet. Then I'm going to yarn over 4 times. And then again, I'm going to make another double crochet in the next double crochet space. And then again, yarn over 4 times. And then again, double crochet in the next double crochet space. And then yarn over 4 more times. And then look at your long leg here and decide about where that double crochet would end if you had done simply a double crochet in that last stitch. And then begin the process of bringing your yarn all the way back by yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops in order to create the mesh. So continue to do that until you have just 1 loop left on your hook. And your work should look like this. Then we're going to turn the work. I'm going to single crochet in that 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only, and then 1 more single crochet in that very last stitch of this row. Again, back loop only. Okay, so now we have the first corner of our square. Next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to want to skip this row right here and double crochet into the top stitch of the next row. So right in there. Then you're going to want to chain 1. Skip the row you just did your double crochet in, and you're going to want to double crochet in the row after that. So right about here. Chain 1. Again, you're going to want to skip the next row, and you're going to want to double crochet in the row after that, and so that's going to be right about here. Chain 1. So what I basically do is I just look for the ridge, right? So you know that you're going to skip this row right here, and the row where you can clearly see the ridge on the triangular part of your work is where I'm going to make my next double crochet. And then chain 1, and then double crochet on the stitch in the next ridge. And you're going to complete that all the way down, and you should then have a total of 11 spaces once you've completed that. Okay, so now that you have your 11 single chain spaces, you're going to chain 1, you're going to turn your work, and in the back loop only of this chain, you're going to single crochet 22 stitches. Again, like before, with this turning chain being counted as an additional stitch. So you'll have a total of 23 stitches across this row. So I'm going to begin my first single crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook, back loop only. And that gives me my first 2 stitches. And then that'll be 3, 4, 5, 21, 22, and 23. So this should be familiar to you because the 23 count is exactly where we started this first corner. And you're going to do exactly the same count and everything on this second corner as you began with the first corner. So with this first row of chain 1 spaces, this is going to be like the original 23 foundation chain row that you did here. And then of course this next row of single crochets, that would be just like your first row of single crochets that you began here. And so you're going to continue on like that, and you're going to follow this same pattern for the next 2 corners. And so when we're ready to do the 4th corner, because things are just slightly different, I will meet you back there. You need to go ahead and jump back to the part of this video that walks you through this first corner section, and that will show you exactly what you need to do in terms of doing your work for the next corner. Now that you have 3 corners, we're going to finish off our square with 1 more corner, and it's worked just a little differently than before. Mostly the same, but a little differently. And so I'm going to start from the last stitch that we make on this 3rd corner. And we're going to begin like we did before, chain 4. And then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next, or I guess I should say the first ridge that I see, or in this case it would basically be the next, it would be like skip a row and then the next row down. So then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to skip a row and do a double crochet in what I would say is the next ridge or the next row, and chain 1, and again all the way down until I have 11 one chain spaces. So now that I've completed crocheting my 11 single chain spaces along the side of the third corner, I am now going to connect this fourth corner to the very first corner that I crocheted. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to double crochet right into the very first stitch that sits directly to the left of the last stitch we just finished. I'm going to crochet in there just like that, and you can see that gives us the center part of our block. And now I'm going to turn my work, and this right here is going to be our very first stitch. And then in the third chain from the hook, I'm going to do my first single crochet in the back loop only. And this first single crochet will also be basically our second stitch. And now I'm going to crochet 21 more single crochets in those back loops across this row of single space openings. And then as before, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then in the third stitch from the hook, begin our first single crochet or our second stitch, back loop only, just as we had done before in the previous corners. Okay, so now we've got 23 stitches complete on this row. And I'm going to do a yarn over because we're going to do a double crochet. But before we do that, we're going to skip this next stitch on the side of the first corner. And we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Just like that. So basically it's going to be your single chain space that you had in these other, at the edges of your other corners, but now we're just tying it together here in a slightly different way. So now we have our first stitch, and then our second stitch is going to begin with the third stitch from the hook, where we're going to single crochet in the back loop only and continue as we have with all the other corners. And the only difference at this point is making sure that you skip a stitch and then double crochet in the next stitch for each row that you complete. I'm going to do one more row for you so that you can see, and then I'm going to meet you back here when we've finished this corner, and I will discuss the next step. Okay, so 21 stitches. And then we're going to turn our work as before. And we're going to do our double crochet. But first we're going to skip this stitch and then do our double crochet in the next stitch. Directly to the side, left side, just like that. Turn our work and begin as before. Okay, so now your work should look something like this. You have your four corners and your single space openings. And then of course your mesh. Now, if you like, you can certainly just leave it like this. If you're going to add any kind of a different border or insert this into something. However, because I'm using this as, a block or a square in a larger piece, like an Afghan, or like as you saw in the baby Afghan that I showed you at the beginning of this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I made the simple border just for that. So now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to do 2 half double crochets in this double crochet space, and then a half double crochet in each, or approximately each stitch after that. And then again, 3 more half double crochets in the double crochet space. And I'm going to continue just that way until I hit the corner. 3 half double crochets in the double crochet space. Now when I hit the corner, I'm going to again do 3 half double crochets. And then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do 3 more half double crochets. As you can see, that will take care of my corner. And I'll continue with 3 half double crochets in each of the double crochet spaces, and then a half double crochet in each stitch. So we're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, approximately 6 half double crochets from the beginning of the top portion of this corner and this corner over here as well. And then continue, and then 3 half double crochets until we hit the corner. And then of course in the corner, 3 half double crochets, a chain, and then another 3 half double crochets to make the corner as we had done here. So now you should have something that looks like this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make one more round. as far as a border is concerned for this piece right here. And so this is a very versatile piece. It has a very interesting and unique look. You can use a crochet thread with it. You can use any weight yarn with it that you want, any color, whatever you think looks best to you. So in order to complete this square, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain one once again, and then I'm going to just simply do a half double crochet in each stitch until I get to the corner, and then in the single chain space I'm going to half double crochet 2, chain 1, and then half double crochet 2 again before putting a half double crochet in each of the following stitches until I hit the next corner. So it'll look something like this. Oh, by the way, you don't have to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to continue doing my half double crochets in the back loop only, or at least until I get to the corners. And then in the corners, it'll be within the chain 1 space. But this is just the look that I happen to want to have for this particular piece. And then when we get to the corner, the first corner, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So now that we're at the single chain, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to half double crochet 2, and then single chain, and then half double crochet 2 more times. And then again, I'm going to continue doing half double crochets in each stitch, just like that. And until we meet again, I'd like to just say to all you wonderful fiber artists, stay safe, stay amazing, and above all, stay crafty. Until we meet again, bye-bye.